A major logging operation is underway just west of Lake Louise. Parks Canada is attempting to create a safety barrier that's meant to stop wildfires from spreading. So 2023 saw a wildfire season like no other in Canada's history. Remember this? Roughly 6,623 fires recorded nationally. Joining us this morning for more on this specific operation is Eric Kennedy. He's the Associate Professor of Emergency Management at York University. Welcome to your morning.
Thanks so much for having me.
So part of how they're doing this is removing a large strip of trees in a national park, and that's not something that we see done very often. Explain to us how that barrier works.
Yeah, there are a number of different tools that we use to try to reduce the risk of fires affecting our communities. Sometimes that's getting in and using the removal of trees or thinning of trees as a way of breaking up some of the fuels. It basically puts a bit of a speed bump in the way of the progressing fire. It slows it down and it gives the crews more opportunity to potentially fight the fire or to have more favorable conditions as it moves through.
In addition to wildfires becoming increasing in amount, the methods we use to fight them aren't as readily available as they once were. What's happening?
Yeah, it's a great question, and it can be really challenging as we see not only climate change, but other pressures on fire make the firefight more difficult. As we have more intense and aggressive fires under climate change, for example, that can make it harder to put crews directly in front of the fire or even have them nearby. It can also make it more difficult to have air operations like we're seeing on the screen right now. The intensity of the fire can make it harder to fight. And so doing these kinds of treatments on the landscape ahead of time can help to slow the fire down or give defensible points that you can work off of and fight fire from.
What about the impact, the environmental impact of clearing out that amount of trees? You know, you're disrupting a lot of ecosystems that are happening there.
Yeah, it's a fantastic question, and logging might seem counterintuitive, but it is one of several different kinds of tools that can be used not only to reduce fire risk, but also sometimes to achieve ecological benefits. For example, we're often looking for forests that have a sort of patchy or mosaicked landscape, that there are different densities of trees, different stand types, and that variability makes the fires progressing through them move more slowly, but it also has ecological benefits. So different species might find areas that are more amenable to foraging or looking for prey. And so in some ways, cleaning this out a little bit in small patches can actually increase the ecological variety and allow different species to thrive in different portions.
If they find this method to be successful, will they be trying it in other areas?
It's a great question, and I think the most important thing to keep in mind here is that we have to have a wide range of tools. Using thinning, for instance, can be very helpful when it comes to reducing fire risk in some places, but in other places it's more appropriate to be using prescribed fire, where we're intentionally lighting up fires to both reduce the fuel and to create ecological benefits from the burns. Or sometimes we might allow natural fires to burn, like fires started by lightning. There might be a time and place to allow those to burn to achieve the same risk reduction or ecological benefits. It's all about using the right tool for the right job, and sometimes it's just very difficult to get in there with fire because you're so close to a community or it would be hard to control. And so it's matching the right tool to the right circumstance.
Yeah, it's interesting to see what we're doing ahead of wildfire season, which is coming up a few months from now. Eric, thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.